Welcome to Legends of Signum II. Warseer. Here's a quick guide to get you started. In this video, we'll review the basic rules for a two-player game. You can explore additional modes in the rulebook. Before the game starts, both players choose their factions, heroes, and make their battle decks. Each faction has its own personal list of 20 common battle deck cards. Additionally, 10 more faction cards are added according to the list on the hero card. Shuffle these cards to form a 30-card battle deck. Each player takes a minion card and may recruit a warband of characters from their faction. Place them in your war camp. The total number of characters of each rank must not exceed the hero's leadership. Put player tablets on the table. Prepare standard minion tokens, markers, counters, reference sheets, terrain cards, and dice. Place terrain hexes on the battlefield according to the scenario or randomly. Place the battle deck's hero and minion cards in their corresponding zones. Select feat cards suitable for the game mode and form a feat deck. It is shared by both players. For a two-players game, it consists of 30 cards. Determine the first player in any convenient way, for example by rolling dice. Set the victory points tracker to 0. Set the initial income value to 0. The first player receives 2 heroes power. The second player receives 3 heroes power. Decide whether you play to 10 or 12 victory points. Starting with the first player, place 1 unique terrain in the designated hexes on the map. The first player sets their hero miniature on the battlefield in the deployment zone. At the start of the game, each player draws 7 cards from the top of their battle deck. Then return 3 cards from their hand to the battle deck and shuffle. Starting hand should have 4 cards. Now the game can begin. Starting with the first player, players make their turns one after another until the endgame conditions are met. Each turn consists of phases. The active player draws 1 card from the battle deck and 1 card from the feat deck. The active player untaps all the tapped cards if they have any. All their creatures have an opportunity to be activated again. Hero's power becomes equal to the income value. Ignore this rule in the first turn. Activation phase is the main game phase. During it, the player can play cards, activate creatures, perform feats, and activate various effects on cards in play. An activated creature can move up to its speed and then attack. The rules for attacking will be covered later. Instead of attacking, a creature can declare a run to move an additional hex, or it can use a special ability, such as healer or longshot. During activation phase, the player can not only activate creatures, but also play cards and apply their effects. The cost of each card is paid in hero's power, as indicated on the top left corner of the card. When playing a character card, the player summons 1 character from the war camp to the battlefield. The character is placed in the deployment zone and is considered activated this turn. Only 1 character card can be played per turn. The spell effect takes place immediately after the card has been played. The spell card is discarded to history immediately after being played. Each card that goes to history immediately changes the income value according to its value. You can always check your income value by summing the values on all cards in your history. Once played, the relic card is equipped by the hero and placed in the hero area on the player's tablet. A hero can equip up to 3 relics at a time, but cannot have 2 identical relics equipped. Relics can be categorized as having either multiple use or durability. Relics with multiple use have a defined number of uses, which are tracked by markers placed on the card. Each time the relic is used, a marker is removed. Once all markers are gone, the relic is discarded. Relics with armor tokens absorb damage dealt to the hero from non-magical attacks. Each armor token prevents 1 point of damage and is removed. When a relic with no armor tokens remaining is destroyed, it is discarded. This symbol means the relic can only be used once per turn, only during its owner's turn, and not during a creature's activation. Relics without this symbol, but with multiple uses, can be used at any time. However, during a creature's activation, yours or your opponent's, they can only be used once. The player cannot remove an equipped relic during the game. However, they can replace an existing relic with a new one, discarding the old relic into history. After being played, a tactic card is discarded into history. A tactic card can be played during the opponent's turn and even during creature activation. When a building card is played, it remains in the city zone until the end of the game, or until it is destroyed by any effect. A player may use the abilities indicated on building cards as well. One character cannot benefit from two activated buildings in the same turn. Once per turn, you may discard a support card from your hand to history without applying its effects. This immediately adjusts your income level, just like any other card placed there. Feat cards can be used in two ways. First, you can discard one feat card from your hand during your turn to activate one of its effects, such as drawing a card from your deck, gaining 2 heroes' power, or summoning a minion in contact with your hero. You can also accomplish the military feat or achievement listed on the card by placing it in your Hall of Fame. This adds the corresponding number of victory points to your total. Achievements can be played at any time during your turn, but you can't play two identical ones in a single turn. For military feats, you can play one card for each enemy character you destroy, but only during your turn. There are 3 main types of attacks: melee, ranged, and magical. While the rules are the same for all, each type interacts differently with certain abilities. To attack, the player declares their intention and chooses a target within range and in the line of sight. Next, the attacking creature rolls all the dice indicated in its attack block. The dice results may be modified by certain effects. Check for any critical effects. If a critical symbol appears, apply the effect. Note, critical effects only apply once per attack. Effects are applied that can add or remove values from the roll. Forest may remove 1 sword from the result of a roll. Each sword or dragon symbol rolled deals 1 damage. If at least 1 push symbol appears, move the target creature 1 hex. If this is impossible or the creature is pushed into difficult terrain, add 1 extra damage. Any effects that can reduce damage are applied now. For example, Fortitude allows a creature to take 1 less damage from the attack. The attack concludes. Inflict the appropriate number of wounds and resolve any remaining effects. When a character's wounds equal its health, it is immediately destroyed. The character's card is discarded into history. After destroying a character, the player may play a war feat card to gain additional victory points. Then, for each star in the character's rank, they take 1 card from the feats deck, placing it face down in the Hall of Fame, earning 1 victory point per card. The game can end in several ways, each leading to a final count of victory points to determine the winner. First, the game ends if a player scores 10 or 12 victory points, depending on the chosen game mode. Second, if one of the heroes is destroyed, the opposing player receives 6 additional victory points, and the game ends immediately. Third, if a player draws the last card from the feat deck, the game finishes at the end of that turn. No matter how the game ends, the player with the highest number of victory points is declared the winner. Now it's your turn to start a battle. Gear up, play smart, and may the best commander win.